So today I'll be talking about how confidence as a footballer is a skill. Now, a lot of players think that you're just born with confidence, that you either have confidence or you don't, and there's nothing you can do to change it. But trust me, confidence is something you can improve. It's something that can fluctuate. It can go up and down depending on how much you train, what you do leading up to the game, what you do in the game, and all sorts. So confidence. This video is about how confidence is actually a skill. It's not just something you have or you don't have. Like it can be worked on, it can be improved, and it can also go down as well. Now, the first point about having confidence in a game is literally just first action. Now, what I mean by first action is literally just when you're in the game, once that whistle blows, try to get involved in the game as quickly as possible. Literally, try to get that first tackle, that first shot on goal, that first pass, win that first header. Literally, just any sort of involvement in the game. That's how that's how you sort of trigger the chain reaction of having a good game, of being confident while you're on the pitch. Because in my experience, the games where I wasn't confident at all, the games where I didn't play well, are the games where it took me so long to get into the game. Like I remember there was one game in particular where I probably had, up until that point, I was having a good season. Like I was playing well every single game. I think it was probably like 7 games into the season. So the previous 6 games, I was playing well, I was balling out. But then that seventh game, for some reason, I was even playing centre mid as well. For some reason, the ball just wasn't coming to me. Like the ball was just, it was it was getting played from the keeper to the centre back to the full back, down the line, crosses into the striker. Like the ball really just wasn't coming through the middle of the pitch. So it took me about, I want to say, probably over 10 minutes to get my first touch, just to get my first touch in the game. And when that happens, when you don't get into the game, quickly, when you're not on it, when you're not sharp, you start to, what's it called? That's when the nerves start to build up. That's when the anxiety starts to build up. Because, like I said, before the game, you're naturally gonna be nervous. Your heart's gonna be racing. You're gonna have butterflies in your stomach. I think all footballers know that feeling of having what's it called? Just feeling like jelly in your legs. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like you just feel that sort of numbness in your legs, and you just sort of need to make that first action to get just to get rid of all that nervousness. So if you take like 10, 15 minutes to have your first like proper action in a game, then it's very hard to sort of climb your way back to have a good game, a good performance, especially if let's say after 15 minutes, you have your first touch and maybe you take a poor touch, you lose the ball, you get tackled, or just something negative happens in that moment. It's very hard to sort of it's very hard to just claw your way back and have a good game, because all the best games I've had personally is when first action, I was just in the thick of the action straight away, literally a minute in, less than a minute in, 2 minutes in, 3 minutes in, just I was just there. Like I was just in there. First, I made a big tackle, or I got my first touch on the ball, turn on the half turn, played a pass, and then from there, literally just kept the ball rolling. It just kept the ball rolling, and I just ended up having a good performance. But when it comes to your first action, I would just say literally just play simple. Like let's say you receive the ball, don't try to do anything too extravagant unless let's say your winger's made a run and it's obvious you have to play that run, even though it's early in the game. Obviously you should play it if you really think that you're gonna make that. But most of the time, I would just say just keep it simple. Literally just keep it simple. Literally get the ball, pass it on, or yeah, literally just your first action, literally just the fundamentals. Win that header. Don't try to do anything too clever. If the ball's coming up in the sky, if the ball's coming up in the sky, first 2 3 minutes, don't try take it down. Literally just header it away, or me it on the volley. Just clear it away if you're a defender. Don't try to be too clever. Don't try to take the ball down and do all of that in the first few minutes. Like you don't need to take those unnecessary risks, because especially if you mess up that first touch and the first touch goes into the striker and he scores, now your confidence is down. Now your confidence is shook. Now you're thinking, damn. Now everyone's looking at you like, well, yo, what's this guy doing? Like now your confidence is down, and like I said before, it's very hard to climb your way out of that. So literally, your first action, literally the first point, literally that first action, literally a minute, less than a minute in, 2 minutes in, get into the thick of the game, get into don't let the game come to you per se, but you have to go get that. I remember I used to hear that phrase of some players saying, "Oh, I just let the game come to me." But for me personally, that just never works for me. Like I had to, go out there and I had to go out there, demand the ball. I had to go out there and make that first tackle, because like I said, I feel like if you let the game come to you, sometimes the game can just pass you. The game can just pass you by, and when that happens, it's very rare you're gonna have a good game. So literally, first action, get into the thick of the action quickly within the first 1, 2, 3 minutes, and then literally your first action, literally just play simple, play that pass, just do the basics well. If a ball's coming, if let's say you're a centre back, the ball's come over the top, um, the other team have tried to play the striker in over the top, and you're running with the striker. Don't try, take a touch and then try like play to your keeper or play to your other centre back. Literally, if the byline is just there, just clear the ball, just get rid, give them the throw in, and then you just regroup from there. Literally, just simple stuff. Your first action early in the game, and literally just the basics, the fundamentals. Don't try to be too clever. Don't try to take risks. That's You can do all of that when later in the game, when the game's settled, when the game's settled, when everyone's got their touches in. You save that for that period of the game. 20 minutes in, 25, half an hour in. Like I said, when the game's settled, but in those first 5, 10 minutes, it's like, yo, just do the basics work. Just do the basics well. Let everyone settle. Let your teammates settle. Let the game settle. Keep keep possession of the ball. Get a good rhythm. Get a good flow to the game, and then you can start, doing the more extravagant stuff. So that's the first point. And then my next point is what I think is one of the main components, one of the most important skills in football to have in order to be confident on the pitch, but especially on the ball. And in my opinion, is having a good first touch and believing in your first touch. Because the thing is that football is all about your speed of play, in my opinion. It's all about what separates the good players from the best players. Is that let's take the Premier League for example. Everyone in the Premier League can pass the football. Everyone can shoot. Everyone can dribble. But what separates the average players from the best players is how quickly they can execute these movements. It's how crisply they can execute these movements. And one of the main components of being able to quickly execute your movements is having a good first touch, being able to trap that ball, turn on it, do whatever you need to do, whether that's shoot, start to dribble, pass the ball. If you have a good first touch, make sure that ball's tight. You trap the ball tight, tight in between your feet, and you do whatever you need to do. That's one of the main things for speed of play. And literally, if you don't believe in your first touch, you're going to be very panicky on the pitch. Like I've seen people who don't believe in their first touch because as a footballer, we've all been told by our coaches is that you should know your next move before the ball even comes to you. So literally, if you believe, let's take a guy who believes in his first touch. When the ball, he's constantly scanning, and as the ball's coming in, he already knows what he's gonna do. He's already thinking about that next pass. He's already thinking as that ball's traveling. He's thinking, all right, cool. I'm gonna ping that ball to my right back. I'm gonna take a touch forward. I'm gonna dribble a few steps. He knows what he's gonna do already. So so when that ball's coming in, he's calm, he's composed. He's just like, yeah, let me take that in and do whatever I need to do. However, when you get a guy who doesn't believe in his first touch, instead of him thinking about his next movement, he's too busy stressing about, I need to control the ball. I need to control the football. Like, do I use my left foot? Do I use my right foot? Do I use the outside of my foot, my instep? Like his head is all over the place. So when that ball eventually comes in, either two things are gonna happen. One, he's gonna miscontrol the ball because he's panicked, he's tensed up. Or number two, even if he does actually control that football, guess what? The ball's going to be stuck underneath his foot. He's going to look up and he's not going to know what to do afterwards. He doesn't know his next move, his next action, because he wasn't thinking about his next action. He was thinking so much about trapping the football, so much about his first touch that he forgot to think about what he's actually going to do when that ball eventually does come in. And obviously, like I said, this results in a poor first touch. This results in you know um, him, getting closed down, getting tackled, getting dispossessed. And also another thing as well is that when you don't have a good first touch, even when you get the ball, let's say it takes you like 3 touches to actually get control of the football. By the time you take those 3 touches, your options are gone. Your options are shut off. Maybe if you had taken that touch, if you had taken that ball in 1 touch, you could have had 3 passing options. A teammate there, a teammate there, a teammate there. You would have had three passing options to pass to. But because you've taken those 3 touches, all of them options are now blocked off. The other team's players, they've all blocked off those options. So now you're just looking up and you're thinking, damn, like where did my options go? That's another thing as well, is that we all have a player on our team who goes, where was my options? I didn't have any options. it's because they took because instead of taking one touch and then passing, they decided to take 4 or 5 touches until eventually all his options were shut off, and he just didn't know what to do. He just didn't know what to do with the football. Yeah, he didn't know what to do with the football, and eventually got dispossessed. And then he's there throwing his hands up saying he didn't have any options. Well, he did have options, but they got closed down because he was taking too long on the football. And then how this links to confidence is literally like I said, you don't want to be that guy who doesn't believe in his first touch and you're constantly panicking of what's called, you're constantly panicking when the ball comes into you. Having a good first touch needs to sort of be an afterthought. You don't want to be thinking about your first touch because, like I said, those are the basic things. You need to be thinking about what you're actually going to do with the football when it comes in. So just take the ball in and then hit your next move. But if you're there stressing about, oh, I need to take this first touch, I need to take this first touch, bro, you're overthinking. You're overthinking. Like I said, you can't be overthinking about the basic things, and it's just gonna ruin your confidence because, like I said, you're gonna be tense. You're gonna be tense when the ball comes in. You're ever gonna miscontrol it. You're gonna take a heavy touch. Then maybe you're forced to, when you're recovering the ball, you're forced to, make a slide tackle. Then you end up fouling the other player. You get a yellow card. Now your confidence is down. Now your head's down. Now you're thinking, Then the next time the ball comes in, you again heavy touch, or you miscontrol the ball, or you get dispossessed, and then guess what? Eventually, guess what happens? You end up shying away from the ball. You don't want the ball. The ball. You should be. You get a situation where you clearly should be showing for the ball, but you're scared of the ball now. Now your teammates are mad at you. Now your teammates are thinking, yo, why does this guy not want the ball? Like, your teammates are looking at you like, yo, give me an option. Like, show for the ball. But because you don't believe in your first touch, you don't want to show for the ball. You're scared. You're scared of what's going to happen when you actually receive that ball. And like I said, that's ultimately hurting your team. Your coach is gonna notice that. He's gonna hook you off, and then guess what? It's just a chain reaction. Your confidence is down now. You're on the bench, and now you're in a position where you have to claw your way back. So literally, first touch is key. Literally, the wall is your best friend. Just find the wall where you're not disturbing anyone, and literally just practice left foot, right foot. Take it on the outside. Take it on your inside. Do not just on the ground as well, in the air as well. Play 2-touch with the wall. Just play keep up with the wall. Literally just get those fundamentals. Different types of turns. Make sure when you're passing the balls, or you get used to that habit of scanning, checking your shoulder. That's one thing when I was younger I wish I would have done more. When I was actually training, practicing, just literally just looking over your shoulder. Trust me, it might not seem significant, but it helps so much. If you look at the best player, you look at Messi. Everyone knows about the memes about Messi just constantly scanning, just literally walking around the pitch, just constantly scanning. He needs to know. You need to know. You need to be aware. You need to know what to do. It's not just about taking the touch, but knowing what type of touch to take as well. Do you need to take it on your right hand side, on your left hand side? Do I need to use my instep, my outside? Do I need to use the sole of my foot and just hold off my man there? You need to know all these things. You need to know what's going on around you. So literally, you're having a good first touch, literally just the foundation of your confidence. Because in my opinion, if you don't have a good first touch and if you don't believe in that first touch, you just can't be a confident footballer, a confident footballer, because anytime the ball's coming in, you're panicking, you're stressed, and literally you shouldn't be stressing about literally the basics. Because if you can't do the basics, like having a good first touch, if you're stressing about the basics, you're not going to be confident to do the other things. Play that 30-yard ping across the pitch. Get the ball out of your feet and have that shot from outside of the box. You're not going to be confident in doing these things. Like another example, taking that touch, getting that ball, and then driving at your man. If you can't even, get the touch right, how are you gonna have the confidence to, really go at your defender? You get what I mean? So literally having a good first touch, that's the foundation of having confidence on the pitch. But yeah, those are all mainly my 2 points. Literally just your first action, get into the game early, and make sure when you get into the game, keep it simple, do the basics right. Don't do any silly things 5 or 10 minutes in, and then literally having a good first touch. That's the foundation, in my opinion. That's probably the most important skill in terms of if you want to increase your confidence. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for this vid. I hope you enjoyed. I'm a JT, and I'm out.